moving through everything.
Hey, we're live, pal.
We're live, pal. That is hello, everybody. Ooh, I'm getting a little bit of hearing myself on stream. So
I heard a little bit of an echo. Do I hear an echo?
a
Do I
little
hear
bit of an echo.
Yeah.
I hear less
Oh,
an echo now. I'm going to guess that was Jose.
I think
Because
you're good.
Jose is now our producer extraordinaire. That's Alexander Kaylee. I am Jedkin Meshew II, Esquire. And this is the UFC Qatar preview show. Mixed martial arts. How do we like our martial arts, AK? Separate but equal.
Separate.
That's how AK likes
Keep them
his mixed
apart.
martial arts.
Keep them apart, I say. Keep them apart.
There's a real chance that the martial arts won't be all that mixed this weekend as we head
Right.
to Al Rayyan, Qatar for UFC Qatar, the promotion's debut in sunny, beautiful Qatar. I'm sorry if it's actually pronounced Qatar. I've never been clear on that, so I'm going to continue to go full American with the pronunciation of this card. And AK, a lot to dig into this weekend. We are fresh on the heels of UFC 322. This is also a good card in its own right, though. A lot of times we leave a pay-per-view event and we're back in the apex, the world's mightiest apex. Not this time. The debut in Qatar, as we have seen with the promotion, pretty solid when they go break new ground somewhere, especially somewhere which I don't know. I'm assuming is giving them a handsome site fee to attend. So, AK, before we get into the Arman Tsarukyan, Dan Hooker, Bilal Muhammad, Ian Machado Gary, and the rest of it, let's just start top down. How are we feeling about this weekend's card? You've semi-retired the gymnastics scale, but give us some grade, some concept of how this card is in your opinion.
A plus, Jed. It's an A plus.
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah, no, listen, I need to work out. I think I'm moving on from grading systems in general. Though the fart scale, top notch. The Michelin star system, top notch. But myself, I don't know. I think I've moved on from grading. I think I just plus it's kind of pointless with me. I think anyone who has watched me on any of these preview shows, and I've done a lot of like Vegas, just UFC Vegas cards, knows I'm pretty like cloyingly optimistic anyway. So you're just not getting a good gauge. I think for me, yeah, I'll like. There are moments where I'll poop on some cards. There's some cards that are just like nearly indefensible on paper. So I'm not made of stone. But for the most part, I'm very optimistic. So people should really be like when you throw to me, I think people should just expect I'm going to try and find the silver linings. I'm always going to be trying to find the good on these cards. Not hard with this one. Certainly not on the main card. If we're just talking main card, which I think is we'll spend the bulk of the show discussing, I'm excited, man. This main card looks just top to bottom of things is really intriguing and could be a lot of fun or not. Actually, I guess we'll get some of that.
It could definitely possibly. One, I'm so proud of you. It's so bohemian of you. We don't do grades. We don't do scales.
No
nothing
scores.
is good nor bad. It's all.
I want to get rid of scoring, Jed. No more scores.
just vibes. It's all part of the great tapestry of this wonderful
Yep.
sport. That's so future thinking of you. You've really galaxy brained this in a way that I respect. I still firmly believe in scores because I'm a caveman and I need numbers to tell me if something is good or not. And this is good. 7 fights above replacement, which is a high mark in the concept of these things. If this were a Meshew, which it's not, that's only the numbered events, we'd even be getting a star. If you are in Qatar, you should go to this event if that's an option for you. I am very, very pumped to talk about this. 2 weeks in a row, I'm excited to talk about fights. That is such a rarity, AK. And we have a lot to talk about because, as you see over my shoulder, there's our seven fights above replacement scoring. But AK, you're the weigh-in guy. You weren't this morning, sadly. You woke up and you got to see the weigh-ins after the fact. You weren't live and in the trenches as it was happening. And AK, what might you have seen? Yes, you saw that all fighters made weight. That's terrific. We're big fans of that. But you know what else you saw this morning, AK? One Arman Tsarukyan, who is in your main event this Saturday, taking on Dan Hooker in a bout with potential lightweight title implications. He did a thing. I won't say he did the thing, but he did a thing as he headbutted Dan Hooker in their face-offs at the weigh-ins. AK, Arman is a guy who can't seem to not get in his own way at times. Most recently, in January, he was supposed to fight for the lightweight belt before an injury, potentially weight issues. I know he has claimed it was a back injury suffered, but the timing is certainly suspicious, if nothing else. Kind of pulled him out within 24 hours of that event. Now this happens. Seems like everything's going forward. Nothing too bad happened. But AK, give me your thoughts on the headbutt from Arman Tsarukyan and what exactly is he doing?
I think he's kind of leaning into being the heel in all this, and he has been for a while, if we're being honest. Armin is very happy to sort of troll people. The headbutt, I thought it was a reaction. We should say, if we want to break down the footage as a Pruder style, that like Dan Hooker kind of flinched into his space first, and I think Armand takes that as like oh, you want to flinch at me? Well, I don't flinch. You want to get close? I'm gonna give you just a little nudge, a little head nudge. I think calling it a head butt is almost it's almost like it's a little head nudge, but definitely made contact. Definitely an active
Look,
aggression.
it was not a Zinedine Zidane World Cup
No.
headbutt. But, it was somewhere between Zidane and how Henry Cejudo starts every boxing combination of just putting the head out there, and potentially can create problems here, AK. Like, thank goodness nothing bad happened. But, like, I mean, one, Dana is already inclined to be mad at this man. And let's say that something bad did happen and Dan Hooker gets a cut on the bridge of the nose or something. And suddenly everything's thrown into chaos because Arman Tsarukyan can't not be a bit of a knucklehead. This was just, I don't feel this fight needed heat. And this feels like bad heat. There's a pro wrestling term for that. What is
Oh,
it?
yeah, like go away heat or X-Pac heat, but go away heat.
That's the term. That's X-Pac
But
heat.
well, two things. One, I agree. The risk of a cut is hilarious. I was actually more concerned with what if Armin had cut? He the one got the cut, like got a cut in his
Also
forehead.
hilarious.
That would have been comical. And let's hope that's not the case. I'm assuming he's fine. We haven't heard anything in the hours since, but we never know. So hopefully that's the issue. I think this fight did need a bit of heat, Jed, and I'm okay. I can't believe I'm saying this because you guys know I abhor outside of the cage like antics for the most part. Well, especially when it comes to getting physical, because fighters getting physical outside of the cage is like the dumbest thing ever. Like just wait a day, and you can do almost literally anything to each other. And guys who can't do that in Jeopardy's fights are just dumb. But I'm almost okay with this probably because nothing has happened. They seem okay. It caused a little bit of a scuffle. Dan Hooker's a maniac. He just laughed it off. That was hilarious. I didn't mind it. I think adding the heat was kind of nice. And again, Arman is leaning to this heel act because ever since what happened with 311 in January, Dana White did suggest it had something more to do with weight cutting possibly than a back injury, as it were. And since then, I think Armin at least once a month releases some video of him eating like this just like enormous amount of food and just kind of winking at the camera and being like, ha ha ha, am I going to make weight the next time I show up? And I'm normally like, that's a very stupid thing to troll people about. But if you are going for like this thing where, hey, I'm strictly, I want people to hate me. That's the kind of intention I want. I want people to hate me, but I want people to hate me to the point that they want to see me get beat up. I actually think he's done okay with that. I don't think he has go away heat. I think people do want to see him fight. I think whether you're a fan of his or not, I think like people want to see him, possibly get his ass kicked.
Maybe. First, shout out to David Shatri, giving away 10 subs.
The best.
Every
time.
We love
the
that.
best.
And he
Legend.
sent a
What a
message
legend.
with it. Happy birthday, AK. That's a message we can all get behind. Also, AK, I don't want to call you out, but I pulled it up again and I'm rewatching it. And I think to suggest that this was a reactive headbutt in any way is not an accurate
He fainted.
representation.
He fainted at him.
He fainted, and
Hooker
then
fainted at
they
him.
walked towards each other. He
gave
didn't
one
faint. It was a reaction. He fainted
Hooker.
at distance. Then they walk in for a face-off, and Armin just pops it.
The offside flag has been thrown. It is on the offense. The offense moved first. Jed, I saw that. I saw the offense twitch.
The offense moved first, but in MMA terms, they would not count that as a counter strike because there was enough gap between the feint and the attack. I don't know. Maybe it's not, because I will say people don't like him. People already didn't like Armin. They are certainly going to continue to not like him. And if you are going to do some shenanigans like this, Dan Hooker's a great guy to do it against, because like, I don't know what would prevent Dan Hooker from fighting, but that wouldn't be it. Dan Hooker's already over, fans already like him a lot. And so he is the face coming into this. I don't know if it's going to matter, but let's talk about this, AK, because the main event tomorrow, pretty big fight. Not, I think, the fight most people sort of saw on their radar until it got booked. Dan Hooker was previously booked against Justin Gaethje, and that fight fell apart, obviously. And then he had some hand issues, some hand injuries. He's been promoting his 1-minute scraps or whatever he calls them. And now he comes in against Armin Tsarukyan, who weighed in as the backup fighter earlier this summer. A bit of persona non grata. The lightweight title picture right now, AK, is fascinating because everybody believes that Ilia Topuria will be defending his belt. And largely the belief is that it will happen in January. But we are less than 2 months from that sort of timeline, and still nothing has been said. Is this fight determinative for who Ilia Topuria faces? Because Paddy Pimblett, both Ilia and Paddy are in Qatar right now. Actually, Ilia is there cornering his brother, who maybe we'll talk about later. So a lot of moving parts here, but let's just talk about the main event. What are they? Are they fighting for a title shot? Is the winner of Armin Tsarukyan, Dan Hooker, are they potentially the guy that Ilia will defend his belt against next?
They definitely could be. I mean, even Dan Hooker. I'll start the Dan Hooker part first, because I think he's sort of just kind of being ruled out. Like, I think people assume, oh, if he wins, like, it's a great win, but it's not going to put him in the number one contender spot. But why not? It'll be 4 straight W's, some really good wins in there. I know they're split decisions, but still impressive performances. I'm pretty sure 2 fights he was an underdog: the Jalen Turner fight and the Mateusz Gamrot fight. He's a fan favorite. He snapped out of this 1-4 skid. I think we were all just kind of like, maybe that's it for Hooker. Like, maybe he's just not gonna. He's much closer to retiring than contending. But 3 straight fights, again, a couple of them against ranked guys, that turns things around real quick. And he's for the most part available. He does have to work out these hand issues. I think that's one thing that's really holding him back. Is depending how this fight goes, if he tweaks one of those hands again, I mean, that's just another 6 to 7 months on the shelf and completely removes him from the equation. But health permitting, yes, he deserves a title shot. Tsarukyan, of course, does if he wins. He was the number one contender earlier in the year. He kind of never lost that spot. I don't think in the UFC rankings that he ever has been out of the number one spot. I think they acknowledge him as the top contender. So he has to take care of business. Again, but as we always say, like, there is no real number one contender in the UFC. It will come down to who is healthy, who is available, who is willing to take the lowest. I'm trying to dance around. Who is willing to fight for the cheapest? I think the UFC also really likes. I don't know if they're gonna feel the need to skim for Ilia, but that is a pretty effective rule. Like, if you have to pick from the UFC Qatar winner and Paddy Pimblett, and I don't know, is there another contender I'm forgetting? I'm sure there is.
Justin Gaethje.
Justin Gaethje. Thank you. If you have to pick one of those guys, I'm sure they'd be happy to take the guy who's willing to take whatever, like a little bit less than the others. That's how these things go. Justin Gaethje, I think himself said this in a recent interview. I believe it was Gaethje who like laid it out perfectly, and he was like, "Yeah, there's no real number one contender," and I think he's right. But is the winner like in play for that, and maybe in pole position? Yeah, I think they're in a strong position, but by no means guaranteed. There's no like, oh, you win and you're a lock. I don't think so.
Very briefly, I will say there was a short period where Arman was not the number one person in the UFC rankings because Islam Makhachev was still in the lightweight rankings. He has since been removed as he is now the welterweight champion of the world, and Arman was always functionally still holding that top spot, deservedly so, right? Like he has not lost in a meaningful way, but for his UFC debut, and then the Gamrot fight that people have differing opinions on. But AK, let's continue to dive into this main event because I agree. I think that potentially the winner of this could be facing Ilya Topuria. I'd say it's unlikely, right? But Arman Tsarukyan has came out this week and was like, "I'm happy to fight him in January. I'll make that turnaround after I beat Dan Hooker." I do think some of it will be Arman needs to make a statement, especially after the shenanigans. He can't sort of eke out a win over Dan Hooker like he did against Charles Oliveira. I don't think that will play for him. But is he going to need to, AK? What do you think this fight sort of turns on? How do you anticipate Saturday's main event going?
I mean, can I give away my prediction now? I know we sort of like wait to the end
Sure,
to give
let's
our
just
picks,
dive
but
into it.
seriously, it's just like, I mean, did you guys enjoy? Have you guys enjoyed some of these sort of high profile contests we've had in recent? Well, definitely this year, and I would even dip into a little bit last year, like that are very dominated by wrestling, that are very, one fighter kind of struggling to get off their back and kind of having to just getting really frustrated. You guys may have heard of Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena, Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Wei Li, Hamza Shemaya versus Dricus du Plessis, and I would even go as far back as like Bilal Muhammad and Leon Edwards. Like I just feel like that's kind of how these things are tending to go. I know that's a small sample size compared to how many main events we've had, but I cannot shake the image of those, and I cannot shake that, especially when I'm thinking of Arman and Dan Hooker. Like Dan Hooker is pretty good at not getting dominated in the ground. Like but what springs to mind is when he fought Islam, for example. And I'm not saying Arman is the same level as Islam. I'm not saying he wrestles in the same with Islam. It's certainly different. But is Arman's best route to victory putting Dan Hooker on his back and neutralizing him for either 5 rounds or until he can snag a submission? Clearly. And Arman is not a bad striker at all. Arman's a very good striker. Like you have to be. The same with Islam. People always talk about him just being a wrestler. Great striker. These guys are great strikers. But why would they risk their great striking against another great striker when their great wrestling can neutralize the great striking? Right? It's an unfortunate thing to say, and I hope that isn't the case. I hope Dan has solutions for some of Tsarukyan's takedowns, the grappling, the clinch work. But I'm a big Tsarukyan guy, and I just think his skill set is just next level. So a lot of listen, so I should say no pressure on Dan. He's not expected to win this, I don't think. So yeah, I'm expecting a little bit of a drag here, Jed. I'm going to be honest. I do think this will be either 5 rounds of wrestling in favor of Tsarukyan, or quite a bit of wrestling and then maybe a submission later on.
So give us your official prediction then before I give you mine.
Tsarukyan by decision.
Tsarukyan by decision. Okay.
Yeah.
Our friends at FanDuel do agree. Arman Tsarukyan, very, very sizable betting favorite. Not the biggest on the card, but way up there, minus 600. The comeback on Dan Hooker at plus 420. And I think this is very likely to be a show out fight for Arman Tsarukyan. AK, I am a little bit more optimistic on the entertainment level of this fight. One, Dan Hooker is simply not in boring fights. Dan Hooker famously took Mateusz Gamrot to a fight of the night, and people hate Mateusz Gamrot. I don't. I actually quite like Mateusz Gamrot, but Dan Hooker made him have an absolutely unbelievable fight. Some of that was also, I think, Gamrot had a little bit of Canelo hands Bilal to him, was a little too willing to exchange on the feet. I think that could even happen this weekend, though. I think Saturday that is possible, AK. But the difference is Arman Tsarukyan, I don't think is a good striker per se, but he can be an effective one. I think he has more power and can just be a little bit more of a dog than Gamrot is in those instances. And thus, I actually like his chances to get Hooker out of there. Maybe take a little while. And certainly if he has to rely on the sort of won't quite call it lay and pray, but it's adjacent. He can do that, but I think this might be a lot more fun just because Dan Hooker is not boring. And Arman Tsarukyan, I think he wants to make a statement, okay? Because I straight up do think he needs to make a statement if he is going to get the Ilya Topuria fight. It seems to me that Topuria is not really interested in fighting him. Don't blame him. That's probably the toughest fight in the weight class for him. I'd avoid it if I could too. And Paddy Pimblett, Justin Gaethje, they kind of feel ahead of Arman in the pecking order right now, and he needs to come out here and make a statement. So I think he's going to try. I'm going to pick Arman by TKO in round 3. No, won't even get to the championship rounds. So that's our main event breakdown. But we have just an infinite number of other things to talk about, and specifically
Jed, let me say, I like that you teased that Arman is not the biggest favorite, because the person I'm going to tell people in the chat without looking, if you guys can guess who the biggest favorite is, and it is by a
considerable
it is
margin.
by a mile. This
literally
person,
double the favorite that Arman is.
This person is a crazy, I guess depending where you look, crazy favorite. Anyway, so in the chat, guys, without looking, go ahead, let us know. But sorry, Jed, go ahead.
So we have a co-main event that is, I think, equally as good a matchup, if frankly not a better matchup than the main event. The only quibble I have with it, it's only 3 rounds, AK. It is 3 rounds in the welterweight division as the former welterweight champion Bilal Muhammad gets back in the octagon the first time since losing his belt to Jack Della Maddalena as he takes on Ian Machado Gary, the future trying to be now as he takes on the former welterweight champion. And so, AK, similar to the main event, though a different dynamic, if you will. What's at stake in this one? Because the welterweight title picture is messy right now. Islam Makhachev just claimed the belt, dominant performance against Jack Della Maddalena last weekend, and a lot of names are in the mix. Kamaru Usman has been making his case. I personally believe Shavkat Rakhmonov should get it, but there's a contingent, and that contingent is spearheaded by both men this weekend. Coming into this fight, have said, we are going to put on a statement victory to convince everyone we are next in line over the Michael Moraleses, the Carlos Pratises of the world. Is that what's at stake? Is a title fight on the line here? Can either guy get to a title fight with a win on Saturday?
Bilal, 0 chance. We'll just get that. Bilal has almost no. He could spinning head kick Ian Machado Gary in 7 seconds. He will not be getting the title shot next. It's just unless other options fall out. Like, as what I mean for Bilal, like there's nothing he can do to just solely jump to the front and say, yes, I am the number 1 contender. It's just not going to happen. And especially after some of his media day comments, where at least the one that jumped out and has kind of gone.
Buddy, I've got
viral.
A note for us to make a comment about that.
Okay, we'll get to that.
I don't know how to
I don't
address
even
it.
want to. I don't know either.
We're going to
I don't
have
know.
to talk about it.
I don't know either. So Bilal, no chance. Bilal, essentially no chance. Which sounds so crazy because it's like when you hear a former champion and then like, oh, it has a chance to put on an impressive performance and get back, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So
there's a new welterweight champ. There's a new welterweight champion, not the guy he lost the belt to.
Yeah. The UFC loves giving title shots to people who like once you're in the championship circle, the UFC loves like cycling through champions and doing rematches, blah blah. Bilal is not on that list. I don't think they ever expected him to become champ in the first place. So no, he can certainly stop Ian Machado Gary, but he cannot do much to move his own stock. Sorry, Bilal. Ian Machado Gary obviously is on the other side of it. Pretty popular guy from the beginning, came to the UFC with a lot of hype. For the most part, has lived up to it. Got some finishes here and there, grinded out some tough wins. Certainly has lost to Shavkat, which should keep him behind Shavkat in the line. But Shavkat has had some really bad luck, and the UFC moves on without you. Unfortunately, whatever the circumstances are for like why you're not fighting, the UFC doesn't care. They have dates to fill. They have title contenders to book, and Ian Machado Gary will certainly be in the middle of that conversation with, I think. I won't say any kind of win. I think like a dull decision, obviously, I think keeps him behind Michael Morales. Probably keeps him behind Shavkat. Almost definitely keeps him behind Kamaru Usman, which sounds so depressing, but gosh, they keep talking about that fight so much. So for me, just talking about the two headlining fights, like I said, I actually think Tsarukyan, like I said, just has to do enough to win, and I think he'll be okay. Jed disagrees. I do think Ian Machado Gary has to impress, either like a dominant 5-round decision where he gets to show more, gets to show a diverse skill set, or a finish of Bilal Muhammad, which would be incredibly impressive. Definitely keeps in the conversation. But as I said before, it's going to depend who's available. When is Islam going to want to fight again? How much is it going to cost to get this person to sign on the dotted line? But yeah, I do like Ian Machado Gary's chances of fighting for the title. I don't want to say in 2026. I want to say sooner than some of the other names we've mentioned. Because again, now that Islam's champion and there's this Kamaru talk and White House talk, I don't know if any of these great contenders who have stepped up in the last couple of weeks, I don't know if any of them are guaranteed anything, which sucks. But I would hope Ian Machado Gary or Shavkat or Malcolm Morales would get the title shot. It feels like they're behind Kamaru. So, yeah.
I don't know if they're behind Kamaru. They might be. It's very, very interesting. I'm going to stake a claim here, and it's a bold prediction. I do not believe that either man can fight for the belt next. Doesn't matter what happens on Saturday. I believe that for a couple of reasons, but the biggest one, AK, is the thing you alluded to. And very simply, they're not fighting for a title shot this weekend, but the great Henry Cejudo is, I don't know if it's been confirmed that he is retiring against Peyton Talbot, but that's certainly been the scuttlebutt that is going to be the final fight of his career next month against Peyton Talbot. And when he goes, AK, he will take with him a notable title as the King of Cringe. And so I ask you, AK, Ian Machado Gary, basically his entire sense of being and everything he says, strong argument that he will take over as King of Cringe. But Bilal Muhammad, AK, he made a push. He made a push at Media Day this week with comments that I wish I could had them up to have a direct quote. But he functionally invoked the name of Jeffrey Epstein as relating to his training partners in, I think, the weirdest thing I've ever seen from a media statement, right? Like, what was going on there, and who is more cringy, and who do fans want to win this fight? Can you put a poll up? Not who will, who do they want to win this fight?
Let's put that poll up now. Yeah, guys, who do you want to win the UFC Qatar co-main event? Do you want Bilal Muhammad, the former champion? Do you want Machado Gary?
If I was a better host, I'd have those comments pulled up. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I want to review them real quick.
I got you right here. This is Jose Young's longtime first.
Oh, Jose, please.
Clem Fandango, can you hear me?
No, we're all here.
Bilal Muhammad's exact UFC Qatar Media Day quotes was, "I'm training with young monsters. I got a 17-year-old now. It feels like the Epstein files without the sex. It feels good. The energy they bring, it makes me feel younger."
I've listened to it hoping that the written would be different. I don't know what he was going for there, AK, but it's safe to say he missed the mark. And yeah, how are we feeling about that?
Okay, first I'll say he's not the King of Cringe. Because as much as I dislike Cejudo's personality, as annoying as I find him, I do feel like he's in on the joke. I mean, he embraced the king. I mean, he called him. Didn't he coin King of Cringe? Like, he called himself the King of Cringe, right? That wasn't a given to him, right? He said he proudly.
I believe he certainly owned it. Whether he coined it or not, might have been somebody on the internet. But yes,
yeah. Which is even more cringeworthy. And think about Cejudo doing the snake. Remember the snake with Dillashaw? I don't know if that's where it started, but yeah, slamming down the snake and that stuff. Horrible.
That was pretty near the beginning of it.
I believe it really started when he fought Dom, because he brought out all the pillows when we were in Jacksonville in the bubble.
Oh my god. Jeez. I'm feeling uncomfortable now talking about these moments, but those are cringe. The definition of cringe, and I think Cejudo's in on the joke. Bilal, I think he thought he had a banger with that line. I think he had that line prepared and thought oh man, when I break this out of the press conference, it's gonna be it's gonna get such a laugh. Because Bilal, if you follow his social media, and even if you watch some of his his YouTube channel where he breaks, I think Bilal actually can actually can make funny jokes and actually has like I think his social media is really funny and quirky. I actually think he has a decent sense of humor. So when he drops something like this, it's not intentionally, I don't think, to make people go like, "Oh, that was so bad it's funny." I think he thought it was really funny, and that's just sad and disappointing. So no king of cringe, Bilal Muhammad for me. I think something there must be another way to describe what he's doing, but whatever he did this week was really bad. Just not funny. Just I don't know that like guys. Listen, I like edgy humor as much as the next guy. I know there's some people out there who are like, he was just being edgy. It's hilarious. He's referencing Epstein. It's like
I don't think anyone thinks
it,
it's hilarious.
it doesn't even really make sense. Like I honestly don't even get the joke.
Correct.
I
I
don't
don't
even get
think
the
a
joke.
single person thinks it's hilarious. Which like it's rare to see a joke miss that
Oof.
hard. I don't. I've never disliked Bilal Muhammad, and I think he's actually not bad on the mic when he's not trying to be funny. I think he strikes me very much as a person who is just not funny and wants to be funny, and that is a tough look. Like it's a tough to be like to want to be a funny person and you're just not. Some people
Yeah,
aren't.
we
But the rest of his mic work I don't have any issues with. Like it's not I don't feel that it's cringe and forced in this one, but this one it was tough, man. It was really, really tough scene.
we all know that person or persons who like you can tell when they're about to like start telling a joke and they're just like loading it up. They're just like loading it up and you're just like you already know what the punchline is and they're just loading up and like you said, these are people who like they want to be funny so badly. And they've put so much thought into it. And when it's time to deliver the joke, it is just excruciating for everyone around. And it never lands. And somehow, Jed never discourages them though. Because they want it so badly. They're gonna get in that funny horse and try again.
Shoot or shoot, man. Shoot
Shoot,
or shoot.
shoot.
Which takes us to my last topic of discussion on this co-main event. Will Bilal Muhammad shoot this time around? Because that is the big narrative coming off the title win. That's how you transition, ladies and gentlemen, by the way. Professional segue. Bilal Muhammad, he's made remarks about embracing the Canelo hands again this week, that he wants to, knock out Ian Machado Gary. Gary said a lot of things that you should put no stock into because he says so many things all the time that are just never true. Uh, I don't think it would be smart for Bilal to come in with a boxing heavy approach as he did against Jack Della Maddalena. But the question, AK, will he or will he have learned his lesson and go back to the drawing board and the thing that got him to the welterweight title?
He'll definitely mix it up more. He'll definitely mix it up more. Again, is he going to go full, Islam or full, Valentina and just try and tackle and throw Gary around for 3 rounds? Maybe not. And he doesn't need to, like we said, because he has less, because there's less time to work with. Like you actually reminded me, Jed, that it is a 3-round fight, not a 5-round fight. He doesn't have to necessarily play it safe the whole time. I think he can afford to take some risks. If the wrestling is working, that's great for him, obviously, because it means he can always fall back on it. But if he is trying to make some sort of statement, we're like, hey, I got the Canelo hands and I've got the old, sort of more grindy Bilal Muhammad style. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome if you could put on a performance like that. I'd be so impressed. If you again was to chain the wrestling into the striking, have the threat of the wrestling benefit him if he decides to stand up with the Machado Gary, because I'm sure if you're Gary, you're thinking, oh, if Bilal stands with me, I'm gonna just knock him flat out. And he might be right, but it certainly won't be as effective or as straightforward if Bilal can put him on his back a few times, hold him against the fence, score some trips, some stuff like that, just wear him down. So yeah, I think we'll definitely see him mix it up, because if he just comes out striking, he's definitely not a bad striker. Like Bilal's not a bad striker. I loved the Jack Della Maddalena fight, but definitely he's at his best when he's mixing it, which is what he did a lot in the way up. He didn't just wrestle his way to the top, right? He wrestled a lot, but he also mixed in striking. So let's hope that that's the Bilal we get, if just for entertainment purposes. Because otherwise, this fight might get a little ugly if he doesn't mix things up. And I don't know how it's going to go. But yeah, he's got a lot to prove here, and let's just hope he remembers that he's an MMA guy. He's a top-notch MMA guy, and not necessarily even elite in either. I would say he's not elite in wrestling or striking.
Yeah, but he's very good at them, like combined.
Yes.
He's good at
Yeah.
mixed
Excellent.
martial arts. And I believe that he will not come in Canelo hands. I think that to me, that AK is Bilal being in on the joke, understanding the narrative from the JDM fight, and throwing a wink to the crowd of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it again. I think this time he will come with a much better game plan, especially because like that's just a proven way to have some success against Ian Machado Gary. So the moment of truth here, AK, the co-main event, who's getting it done? How are they getting it done? Give me your breakdown and prediction of the matchup.
You would think I would have learned my lesson from the Leon Edwards debacle last week. I had picked Leon Edwards. I said, I can't believe this former champion is being disrespected. I think Leon was a bigger underdog than Bilal. I'm not sure. Again, I guess it depends where you look. I think Leon was a slightly bigger underdog. And I was like, shame on all of you odds makers. Leon Edwards is still like a good fighter. Yeah, maybe, the mental game isn't where it needs to be, and that's going to cost him. And boy, everyone who thought that was 100% correct, because he just straight up got knocked out. Got knocked out in the second round. Did not look great. Did not look great really at any point in the fight. First round wasn't bad. So yes, but I don't know why I'm sticking with this mindset. I just cannot. I'm not ready to shovel the dirt on Bilal Muhammad's career yet. The 3 rounds is interesting to me. I do think he can win at least 2 out of 3 rounds if he mixes things up. So yes, he will not be fighting for a title anytime soon, but he also won't be completely wiped out of the title conversation, guys. Maybe 2028, maybe 2027, excuse me, maybe after next year. See if he strings together 2 or 3 wins. See where the landscape of the division is. Maybe there's still a chance for him to fight for a title. So I've got
Definitely.
Bilal Muhammad by unanimous decision.
I am also taking Bilal Muhammad by decision. I don't feel
Ooh.
great about it because there's just very obvious worlds where he loses. And if this were a 5-round, I'd feel really good about it. We don't know the truth of this. Bilal has claimed that Ian refused to accept a 5-rounder. He would only take it for 3. I can believe that's true. Some people in the comments are bashing Ian for that, and I understand the sentiment. I will say, as much as I would like this to be a 5-round fight, no fighter should take a 5-round fight unless they're getting paid commensurately for that. That's just more work to not get paid any more money. And I strongly doubt they were paying more money had this fight been 5 rounds. So I don't blame him for not doing that, but that's just more like a problem with the way the UFC operates. And they should have a lot more 5-rounders than they do. But that's a whole separate soapbox. I don't need to get on, AK. Still in a 3-round fight, if Bilal comes in with the appropriate game plan, Ian Machado Gary has never been, he doesn't have like the best footwork. He's got fine footwork, but he can get backed up. Bilal can just sort of put that pressure on him. Ian has been saying that he's going to knock him out in the first round if Bilal stands with him. And I got to tell you, I've watched a lot of Ian Machado Gary fight. I would not say that he hits as hard as Jack Della Maddalena, and Bilal walked through a whole load of shit from JDM. So I find it hard to believe that Ian would actually light him up that bad on the feet. He might be winning, certainly, but I think Bilal can just sort of force a grimier fight. And this may be very close, right? Like the first round, Ian probably wins. Bilal comes on a little stronger, and that second round's a swing round. But let's go Bilal. Plus, if Bilal wins, then my perfect scenario plays out. Okay, where Bilal can fight Kamaru Usman, Shavkat can fight Islam, Prates can fight Michael Morales, and then JDM. I would like JDM to fight Sean Brady, but I don't think that fight will happen for reasons that I believe are obvious. But JDM versus Ian Machado Gary as the sub 30-year-old dudes in the weight class who were up near the top, but then lost in a poor way. That fight just makes so much sense to me. So I'm pulling for Bilal Muhammad. AK, how's the poll looking? How do the fans want this to go on Saturday?
It is damn near split down the middle. I mean, it's been fluctuating. Bilal had a brief lead there where he was like close to like a little over 55%. Now it is just fluctuating 50%, 49, 51, 51, 49. So I don't know if this means people like both guys or if it's suggesting the opposite.
I think it's probably the opposite, AK. We've got one more fight before we get into some odds and ends things that I want to talk about. It's not the feature bout of the evening. The feature bout of the evening is Volkan Oezdemir versus Alonzo Menifield. That's not the one we're going to talk about. We've got to spend at least a little bit of time on the heavyweight main card fight as Waldo Cortes-Acosta steps in on 72 hours notice, less than a week's notice, certainly. Out of nowhere, AK flies to Qatar basically at the drop of the hat to take on Shamil Gaziev. Gaziev was originally supposed to face Sergey Spivak. Spivak was injured and withdrew, and WCA answered the call. He fought earlier this month, right? Was that November 1st that he fought? I'm confirming. November 1st, he knocked out Ante Delia at whatever that Apex card was. And now he is back in action, the fifth time he will be competing in 2025. Only the second heavyweight to ever fight 5 times in one calendar year. How are you feeling about Salsa Boy stepping in on short notice? Because frankly, Shamil Gaziev, that fight had no juice to it, and now it feels like people are interested just because of the dynamic of Salsa Boy stepping in.
The vibes are so good. The vibes are so good, man. I mean, what can you say? Who saw this coming? It looked like, if you're a WCA, you look like you kind of put a nice little bow on your 2025 campaign, right? You had this bizarre eye poke situation with Delia, come back for a knockout, made sure you ended in a win. He was coming off that Sergey Pavlovich loss, which was probably disappointing for him. And he got back in there pretty quickly already. Like August, November was not a long time. He already got back in there quick. He kind of did what he had to do. Then this opportunity shows up to fight in Qatar against a pretty dangerous heavyweight. I always hesitate to say prospect with any of these guys because all these heavyweights are closer to 40 than they are to 30. But yeah, a guy who's clearly coming up. I think he was, I didn't see the odds, I'm pretty sure, favored to beat Spivak. I'm certain he's favored to beat Waldo as well. Yes. And we should also know, activity does not guarantee success, because Kevin Holland also got in there 5 times this year, and I think he went 2 and 3, right? Yeah, 2 and 3
for
Kevin
2 and 3,
Holland.
one of the two.
Yeah, not great, right? So it's the vibes are cool. We love fighters who get in there and are active and seem to pick smart matchups. But this is a really dangerous situation for Waldo. Theoretically, nothing to lose, right? Obviously, loses on short notice. UFC's not going to hold it against him. He's going to maintain his ranking, I think, no matter what, except for maybe because he jumping ahead of him. But he's not going to plummet out of the top 10, right? He's going to hold on to a top 10 spot, and Gaziv will just take his spot, which is fine. Get a nice paycheck, close out the year. It's just all good stuff for Waldo. So I think it's a great decision. He's making the most that he can of his athletic prime, as it were, and he has a chance to win. I think he actually, again, based on what we've seen from Waldo, he's been counted out a few times. He finds ways to pull things off. We saw in the last fight, show that he could still hit hard. We've seen him wrestle. We know he's very happy taking a fight to the ground if he has to. It might be the right thing to do, or he's going to get knocked out in 10 seconds. Either way, I'm laughing. But I'm picking Waldo, man. I'm picking Waldo.
Waldo is, in fact, the very slight betting favorite here, around minus 135.
The vibes.
So a shift in the odds for Gaziev, who was a not a huge, but a legitimate favorite over Spivak, and now WCA stepping in. I'm just way more interested in this fight than I thought I would be, because it's a different fight. And, I don't think Gaziev is very good, frankly, but WCA off of a fight, he'd been back. He wasn't really preparing for a real fight. It's just an interesting dynamic here. He is doing a little bit of trolling as well. The man is setting himself up as best he can. He rocked an eye patch to, I think, the ceremonials today. A little jab, just a little jab at heavyweight champion Tommy Aspinall, and trying to put himself in position to, fight for a title. So I still actually haven't decided who I'm picking in this fight. I'll probably pick Waldo Cortes-acosta because I just don't believe in Shamil Gaziev, but I was on Spivak before this, so I'm interested, AK. AK,
I did not know that's where you were going, by the way, with when you said there was one more. I thought you were going to talk about. I thought you were going to Jack Hermanson at once, or the returning Kyoji Horiguchi. I was I did not expect the Waldo thing. I was I'm happy to talk about it.
No, because that's the thing that has taken. Nobody's talking about Kyoji and Tegir Ulanbekov.
Literally no one.
The conversation around that fight has entirely been, why is it on the prelims? And then it got bumped up, and everyone was like, okay, good. That's correct.
Moving on.
We did the right thing. Now we're done. Kyoji Horiguchi's back, and that's awesome. And he's an option that you can talk about, because the last segment, we have 2 more segments, but the penultimate segment before we go to the fans and bring Jose in is pick your best thing. We got 14 fights this weekend. I think 7 of them are above replacement level. We have talked about 3 of them, so pick one from the remaining 11 fights that we have not spoken about that you are particularly interested in, that has your eye above anything else's. If you're picking one of these fights that you get to watch this weekend, which one is it going to be?
I'm actually like going prelim. I'm going prelim here. I am.
Prelim.
There's a.
Wow.
I mean, there's a lot of weird storylines. I could go in so many different directions because I kind of want to talk about this weird Dalby Izagakmaev fight. We can touch upon that. I have a feeling maybe people have questions about that, or just we'll just dig a little deeper.
I
Maybe
really doubt people are going to have questions on that, but we can
I
always touch on.
think America wants to know who is this guy that's fighting Nicholas Dalby that used to fight for one and hasn't fought in 3 years. I think people want to know. But no, I'm interested in the Beksat Almakhan Alexandre Topuria. Jed, you know I love me some bantamweights, right? Sorry guys, my lighting's going crazy. I'll close the blinds in a second. I don't think this. I haven't seen the odds for this yet, but I assume this is not like a crazy favorite for Alexander Topuria, is it, or is he?
No, this is
Okay,
Taporia has money has come in on him. He is now a
okay,
favorite. Earlier this week, it was pretty close to a stone pick'em.
sure. Because I think other than the
Taporia
name
right
value,
now, VR friends at FanDuel minus
right?
136. Bexat is plus 116.
I think other than the name value and the fact that Alexander Topuria is very good. I mean, from what we've seen him, clearly a very good fighter. Like he's not just coasting on his name. He is a UFC level guy. He would have more pro fights if it wasn't for him being so, of course, dedicated to focusing on Ilya's career. Right? They've spoken about that many times. And Ilya has just been sort of the more like he's been in the bigger fights. He's been in the bigger fights. Alexander has put his career on the sidelines. Very talented guy. Maybe a guy who string his wins together. Future bantamweight contender. Totally, I could believe that. But Almakhan is really good. I mean, people remember him. They don't even remember his last win. They remember him as the guy that rocked Umar and went to a pretty competitive decision, right? So this is not. I saw some maybe one or two people thinking that this was sort of like a fight that was meant to kind of help get Topuria further over, and I don't think that's the case at all. So I think this would be a really competitive fight, exciting. Love me that 135 division, and I think like Almakhan is a sleeper for sure to like be a bantamweight contender someday. Like I strongly believe that he's not even 30. There's a lot of growing to do. I love him to be a ranked guy someday too. And same with Topuria. So I think that's what I like about this fight so much is this feels like two guys who could be in the top 10 someday fighting now, and that's always kind of enjoyable to see.
You could have given me 11 guesses, and I don't know that that's where I would have gotten to it. My answer, I'm going to take, I had another answer because I thought you were going to take the low hanging fruit. It is Kyoji Ulanbekov. Kyoji Horiguchi is back, and that rocks. I don't understand why this is the fight the UFC has been so keen on. It was booked. Kyoji pulled out. Now we're doing it again because we've just got to have the world must see Tagiru Ulanbekov fight Kyoji Horiguchi. But I think there are flyweight title implications. I know Kyoji and Pants train together and are very friendly, but they have both been like, we will fight each other. That's fine. If Kyoji wins and Pants does defeat Josh Van, like, unless Pants is moving up to 135, which he doesn't seem that interested in, uh, you know, why wouldn't you just roll that out? Who else is going to friggin' fight him, man? Pants beat everybody at 125 already. Tagiru Ulanbekov, this is a huge opportunity for him. He is gigantic. If you saw the photo they took at weigh-ins, it looks like a featherweight is about to fight Kyoji Horiguchi. The fight is pretty awesome, and Kyoji has looked really good at flyweight. His failures have been, in the last little bit, have mostly been up at 135, but Ulanbekov is enormous and a grappler. So, like, I'm fascinated by this matchup. It's really great to see Kyoji back. It's a shame that he spent the bulk of his career not in the his prime years not in the UFC, but glad to have him back because Kyoji rocks. And so very much looking forward to this. Also on the main card, AK.
Jed, did you see the weigh-in controversy with Mr. Ulanbekov?
That the guy on this doing the weigh-ins did his
It
job
was a little.
appropriately.
He was a little Jeff Moloney,
Yeah.
with the scale. There's a clip out there, guys. I only saw it because someone tagged me in it. The scale wasn't exactly settled when Ulanbekov his weight was registered. It seemed to be shaking a little bit, but close enough. Apparently, close enough. Jed, you're okay. You seem okay with this. You seem fine.
Yeah, I've never really cared that much about weight in the thing. And I think everybody like this is one of those things where obviously the appropriate answer is why aren't we just using digital scales? There's no room for interpretation. It's a digital scale. This isn't, the 1890s. We can just use that and that would solve all of this. You know, boxing does it, be fine. But I don't have an issue with it for exactly this instance. Like I just need you to be ish. As long as you guys are close enough, I'm okay with it because, like that seems fine to me. Like if everybody who's ever trained, like you'll train with all sorts of people. People are way bigger than you, way smaller than you. But if you're looking for like an actual training partner, it's not like, hey, we both need to be within a pound of each other. It's like we're roughly similar. That's all I'm looking for. I'm fine with it. That guy did a great job as far as I'm concerned. So either go to the digital scale or exclusively employ people like that guy. Let's not spend an hour to get the weight on those things. It's just no need for it. But yeah, if you were asking me, do I think on a digital scale would Tagir Limbekov have come in at 126 pounds? I do not. But that's not the rules we're playing with
You
over
can't
in
say you
Qatar.
don't know. You can't say that. You don't
I
know.
said, do I think? I don't think
Okay.
so, but that doesn't matter. It's not the rules we're playing with here. Officially, he made weight, and that fight goes forward, and that fight's going to be awesome. And I got no issues with how that goes. Uh, the rest of this main card, AK, we mentioned Volkan Oezdemir, Alonzo Minifield. I doubt anybody cares about that fight, but shout out to your boy Volkan Oezdemir. Jack Hermanson successfully makes weight at welterweight for the first time as he takes on Miktabek Oralbai. AK, I will say very briefly, did you see Hermanson on the scale this morning? Have you seen what he looked like?
I don't know. I might have missed it. I thought from what I saw, he looked okay, right?
I mean, he looks skinny.
Yes,
Considering
I
he
would
was never
imagine.
like a small middleweight. But he didn't look like he was dead to make it. So credit to him. I was genuinely curious how that would look. Interested to see how he looks at welterweight taking on a former lightweight and Miktabek Oralbai moving up. The prelim card, Bogdangrad takes on Luke Riley. I know Lazy Bed in the chat, very high on Luke Riley, so we'll probably get some questions there. As you mentioned, the Izagakmaev Dalby fight. One now flying under the radar, the fight that got bumped to the prelims in place of Ulanbekov Kyoji Horiguchi, a top 15 flyweight matchup, Alex Perez Asual Mabayev going on. That's just a rock solid fight. The biggest favorite on the card, minus 1200, Abdul Rahman Yakiev taking on Rafael Cerquiera in an absolute squash match. Ishmael Nordiev taking on Ryan Loder. Nurulo Aliev taking on Shim Rock, very popular internet fighter Shim Rock. And opening proceedings, Marek Bujlo taking on Denzel Freeman in a fight, AK, that is a contender series matchup that has somehow snuck its way on to the UFC Qatar card. That is your full
Oh,
UFC Qatar card. Before we go to the peeps, AK, every time I host, we do this. Let's play the game. 4 bonuses will be given out Saturday afternoon. Who is walking away 50K richer on Saturday?
Waldo Cortes-Acosta. He's gonna finish
We,
Kazif.
he's going to finish Kazib.
He's gonna
Ooh,
finish Kazif.
okay.
Yep, I said it. I think we're going 4 bonuses here. By the way, I think we're going 4 performance bonuses. Excuse me. I'm trying to see if there could be a fight of the night. I don't know if I can spot that. Yakyayev is going to get one after he runs through Sakira in like 30
That's a
seconds.
good bet. That's a good bet.
Ah, boy, maybe there will have to be a fight of the night. I don't know. I'm not sensing a lot of finishes, or at least not a lot of finishes that will be memorable. So I guess that doesn't necessarily matter when you are heading up. You know what? Almabayev. Almabayev's going to get one.
Ooh, okay.
And Luke Riley.
I mean, Lazy Bed loves to hear that. I'm going
Yeah.
Tsarukyan. Like I said, I think he's going to stop Hooker, so I'm going to give him
Okay.
one. I'm
Definitely
going
him.
Miktabek Oralbai. I
Ooh.
believe Jack Hermanson feels like his durability is going at this point, and dropping a weight class is not going to help that. So I'm going to go Miktabek Oralbai gets one as well. Just for, I don't know that this will happen, but because I want it to happen, Kyoji Horiguchi makes his return in style And yeah, Yakiev is going to kill Sarkera. And sometimes they don't give you a bonus because like this is the most obvious. Sarkera's lost 3 in a row, and Yakiev is a very, very good prospect off the most recent Contender Series. You know, this is what it is. They'll probably give him one anyway because I like him. I think he's a pretty good prospect. That is our UFC Qatar breakdown, which means it's time for you guys to take over. Already has seen a bunch of cues come in. Keep firing them in. As always, super chats get priority. And joining us, the producer extraordinaire. I mean, probably the hardest working man in media, not just MMA media, but media. And apparently he was born in the darkness. Mr. Jose Youngs.
This matches my soul right now
because
I'm also
shrouded.
I'm also working on Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua stuff while producing this show. So my soul is dark and matches.
Why can you not put on a candle? Why does that?
What are candles, AK? All right, you know what? Just for you, AK. Is that better?
Oh, light him up. Light him up.
Jose Light is your friend. Achilles Jr. Happy birthday, AK. Super chat. Thanks, Achilles. We love that from you. Happy birthday, AK. Becksat and Armin getting KOs tomorrow. Like I said, I think Armin actually will. I don't know if it'll be like a standing KO. I do think he's going to get a stoppage. It wouldn't shock me if Becksat did it, AK. I mean, he dropped Umar. He slaughtered who was the tough winner that he killed last time out? Oh, come on.
Tough winners never lose.
No, Brad Katona. Yes.
Brad Katona. Listen, that's only because Brad won it too many times.
Let's say the tough winner.
And then he won it. That's the first time he'd been finished in like 10 years or something. That was crazy. That was crazy.
I know.
Didn't that? Well, didn't that kill you? That didn't kill your climb, did it?
Didn't kill my climb, but I did have a bet on it.
I think I tried to kill your climb with it, and then
I had a bet on it because I was like, Katona doesn't ever get knocked out, and then he got knocked out. So it wouldn't shock me if this happened. But I don't know what to make of Alexander Taburia. You talked about this fight already a little bit, AK, but I am really interested tomorrow because I like Becksat, and I don't know is most brothers are bad, right? Like in the history of the sport, there are very few where both brothers are really good. And obviously Ilya is so good that even if Alexander Taburia is like the bad brother, he could still be a totally fine fighter. But I feel like I'm going to learn some things about him tomorrow when he takes on Becksat.
All right.
RS40. Thank you for the super chat, RS.
Whoa, I don't know why that got really big.
Okay.
That was a lot.
I think Armin. I think Armin will do the same he did to Joel Alvarez against Hooker. Is Armin the most underrated fighter in the UFC? Look at his resume. AK, before you answer, let me run the resume off for you, just appropriate. Split decision win over Charles Oliveira. Beneil Dariush, knockout win in 64 seconds. TKO win over Joaquim Silva in June of 2023. Unanimous decision win over Damir Ismagulov. A loss to Mateusz Gamrot that many people, our own Mike Heck included, firmly believe he deserved to win. TKO to Joel Alvarez. TKO to Christos Giagos. UD over Matt Favola. UD over Davi Ramos. UD over Olivier Albin Mercier. And, of course, his UFC debut, a loss to Islam Makhachev on short notice. Is Armin the most underrated fighter in the UFC?
I should let people know I cannot stand the phrases like overrated and underrated because a lot of it's like a matter of perspective, right? Like there's people who will tell you Armin's the best fighter like in the world. There's people who will tell you, oh, he sucks ass. So it's always weird to me because it's subjective. I know RS40. I know the question is asked from like, you know, the general vibe we get from the MMA community and Twitter and social media and blah, blah, and other media members. So I guess from that perspective, is he, I would say no. Like, I don't even think he's underrated. Like, I know people don't like him, but I don't think it has anything to do with what he has or hasn't done in the cage. I think he's pretty widely respected. I think that's why there's some people who, I think a lot of people don't have an issue with him still being like the number 1 or number 2 contender, even though he had that debacle in January and technically hasn't fought since, what was the Oliveira fight? Was it April of last year? No, it was summer of last year. 300? April. Yeah. So it's been a long time. Like, and even considering all that, he still has plenty of people saying like, oh yeah, he's either just should have gotten the title shot anyway, or is 1 win away from the title shot, which is I think a lot of the narrative going into Saturday. So I don't think he's underrated at all. He is disliked. I guess the question would be: is he one of the most disliked fighters relative to his in-cage accomplishments? He's probably up there. Is he number one? I don't know, but he is up there. People do not care how many fights he's won or who he's beaten. They just don't like him. and a lot of that is his own fault. A lot of that is his fault. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I don't think he's underrated.
No.
I think you nailed it. I think people don't like him, but I don't think anybody disrespects him, right? Like, the only way he's underrated is if you believe he is one of the very best pound-for-pound fighters. And that could be true, but he hasn't been able to prove it because he missed the Islam fight, right? Like, if he had beaten Islam, okay, but he didn't get that. And now he's getting an opportunity to again show out. You know, if he gets an Ilya fight, people might you might get there. But I think he's properly rated. He's just a little disliked because, to your point, AK, he's courting that, you know? I don't like people going off records.
Jed,
RS follows up. I think he's underrated because how people are trying to give Patty or Gaethje a title shot. He's clearly better than them both. RS40, I would say that that's true. I don't think anybody would argue that he's not better than both of them at this stage of their respective careers. But title shots aren't given to who's the best fighter. They're given for a variety of reasons. Sometimes that's it. But nobody's giving Patty or Ilya a title fight if they get them because they are better than Arman Tsarukyan. There are other, situations at play here.
Yeah, I think I think even the people who are saying they want to see Patty or Justin get the shot over Arman, I don't even think they necessarily think they're better than him. I want to see Patty get the shot over Arman, and I don't think Arman is better. I don't think Patty's better than Arman. I just think it just makes more sense to give him the shot now. So maybe just underrated isn't the right word, but who is underrated, Jed? I'm just kind of going through my rankings here really quickly. I think because I think you kind of have to go almost outside of the top 10 to really find underrated people. Jillian Robertson kind of comes to mind. People don't realize she's literally one away from a title shot.
Jillian Robertson's a really good. Jillian Robertson's a really good pull.
And even historically, if you look at who she's beaten, and she owns all these UFC records in the strawweight division, and it's your average fan does not know Jillian Robertson. She might fight for the title next year. So that's one example. I'm trying to find out some from the men's divisions. It's hard. It's
somebody, I think it was Master of the Universe, put Arnold Allen. I like that call. I think Arnold Allen is pretty fitting. If you'd asked me this 2 days ago, I would have said Shavkat Rakhmonov because everybody just buried him after 322. And then I tweeted about it, and then a lot of people were like, no, Shavkat should fight Islam. And so I think maybe he's not. And there's just a weird, some people have memory hold him, but a lot of people haven't, because a lot of underrated AK does feel like just when you aren't competing, people forget about you in this sport.
Right. Which kind of was happening with Arman, right?
Yeah. I mean, Arnold Allen has happened with all of them. If you're not fighting every couple of months, the memory of this sport is very, very short. And so, but Jillian Robertson, I think, is a great pull because she's been really, really good for a long time. Yasmin Yazidovicic, honestly, I know she just got lit up, but has historically been pretty underrated, I think. Yeah. Thanks for the question, RS40.
That's a very good question.
Another super chat.
Chase. Is there anything to the fact that every double champ except Islam won their second belt by finish? Does it make Islam's win not as strong as others?
Is this true? Jose, is this true?
Well, by double champ, you start with Connor, knocked out Eddie. Cejudo knocked out Dom. Amanda Nunes knocked out Cyborg.
No, I assume he was asking about people who have. All right. Double champ. You think? All right. Double champ only means people who were did not lose their title, and not like Randy Couture, not like BJ.
I mean, Randy's weird in that he won the Tim's. He won so many belts so many times, but he got finishes in title fights at both weight classes.
He did. Yeah.
Okay. Just Dom, the Amanda, DC.
I mean, GSP too. He finished Bisping.
He did.
GSP.
Cejudo.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I didn't realize this, but that is actually true.
Wow.
Wow. I did not know this at all. I don't think it makes a difference, frankly.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. Like maybe there'd be something to it if that fight was competitive, right? Or like, well, okay, those were dominant and this was still a win, but like a bad decision. He won 25 minutes of 25 minutes that were fist fought. So um, I don't. Also, the other thing I'll say, um, man, he won it in the weight classes to win it in, right? Like lightweight and welterweight are historically the best weight classes in the sport. I know that bantamweight has its supporters and featherweight has always also been a great weight class, but lightweight and welterweight have been amongst the premier weight classes, and like it is substantially more impressive an achievement to win the lightweight and the welterweight titles than to win the light heavyweight and the heavyweight title, for instance, or frankly the middleweight and the light heavyweight title. Like his accomplishment is much more impressive to me than John Jones's championship, Alex Pereira's championship,
Even
Amanda Nunes's championship, Cormier's
Cormier,
championship.
Right?
Like this is right up there with any of them ever.
Yeah. And can we remember? I hate it because it's going to be looked back on as like, Islam was given like an easy win to become a champion, a two-division champion. Jack Della Maddalena was an 18-fight win streak.
You fight who you fight.
Yeah, and he didn't look amazing in all those wins. I don't get me wrong. There were some close calls in there. There was some he had to kind of pull the win out at the last second, but he still won. 18 straight fights in MMA. I don't care who you're fighting is amazingly difficult. And was 7-0 or 7-0 in the UFC or 8-0, something like that. So like this was not a layup for Islam. I know in hindsight's 2020, you could certainly view it that way, but Jack was a very, very accomplished fighter coming into this. So yeah, I think the way Islam dominated, I'll always say is like way more credit to Islam than just like saying like, oh, Jack sucked that day. I mean, certainly wasn't Jack's best fight, but he didn't. I mean, Islam I think is just great. So again, but I do think this is a fair question because I actually did not know that about the finishing stuff. Yeah.
Happy to learn something.
Another one from Chase. This isn't a question, but he sent us money, so.
Well, we love it when you do that. We're big fans, Chase. Shout out to Jose for being cool enough for letting me interrupt him editing a video at the 322 weigh-ins.
Was he cool? Chase, DM me. DM me on my Twitter.
I'm very confident that I looked incredibly burnt out. Which is the story of my life. I'm usually burnt out editing a video and or both.
Did you take a selfie? Is there a selfie with you and Chase out there?
I took a photo with him.
Chase, DM me that selfie
shout
on
out
Twitter.
to Jose.
My DMs are open.
Unrelated to anything but another super chat.
From Yamik Vassell. Laurel Murphy just teased a move to 155. I didn't see this.
Well, Jose shared it with us in our...
Oh, did he?
Un minuto. I'll throw it up on the screen.
Slack chat, yes.
Un minuto. I will throw it up on the screen.
Oh, that's dumb.
There you go, Jed.
I think this is a very bad idea.
I don't believe this is true. I think this is him
just tweeting.
This is him being mad about something because like the division is super stagnant. I thought I was fighting in December. Okay, like you already fought this year, so it's not like you've been on the shelf forever. And like theoretically, you're the guy in line or one of the guys in line for a featherweight title fight. I don't believe this at all. He's just tweeting.
Yeah.
If he wants to be active, take a fight. But moving to 155, like I get it. He doesn't want to have to fight another top 10 guy at 145. He's done all the work there. But then, just tell them you'll fight whoever. Like defend your top 10 spot. I guess he thinks going up to lightweight, and if he lost, it wouldn't matter. But I think it would. Like I just think there's not.
It definitely matter.
Yeah, there's very little to gain from it, and still plenty to lose. So I mean, a cool idea. I know he's essentially saying give me a wider range of opponent options. If you're not going to give me a title fight, but I think this is a bad idea. He's not a huge featherweight either. I just don't think this is. It's fine. Every
piece of this seems silly, and I don't know what's going on at 145. It's very confusing. He had so much momentum; it seemed locked in that he was fighting Volk in December, and then that didn't. I don't know why that didn't materialize. Now it looks like Volk's probably going to wait till February when they're going back to Australia.
Are they?
Well, maybe that's also
going to go
up in the air. They're going places,
possibly,
but that's maybe a thing that's happening. So many things have kind of been shifted, and it's not like he had the most like, oh, we've got to give him. He just sort of wrote like, oh, that was a great finish, sure. And this reads to me like he's not getting the title fight, and so he's tweeting about it.
Yes.
Yeah. He's frustrated.
Right.
You don't have to tweet, guys.
Nope.
Just
We'll do.
Never
Just don't.
tweet is what I would say normally.
We'll do a
Listen,
couple
honestly,
quick. We'll do a couple quick ones because we're up past an hour now.
Sure.
Champion Tsarukyan. Armin is
Oh
lucky he didn't cut Hooker. He's a loose cannon.
How
I
am
think
I-
he is lucky that somebody didn't
That's
get
what I'm
cut.
saying. Yeah.
But Jed, how am I on the? I am the most pearl clutching-y, I feel like, of the MMA fighting crew, possibly of the entire MMA community. How am I on the other end of this? I'm shocked. I'm just like, that was just some fun, like, playful roughhousing. I said, boys will be boys. I said.
I am equally as shocked that you are of this
No.
because, like, he is not like the UFC's favorite guy, and you're just assuming risks you don't need to. Looks like nothing bad has happened, and this will all work out well for him. But, like, can you just imagine had he busted open the bridge of Hooker's nose, like the absolute storm of crap that would rain down on him from Dana White had that happened?
Jed, he's daring to be great,
Yeah.
and he's not going to let you hold him back.
He's daring
He
to be an
is.
idiot.
The before I move on, the entitled rich boy moniker that everyone keeps calling Armin, including Dan Hooker. You know, fair play to Armin, because when that was like brought up at media day, he was like, "Yeah, I am." He's like, "Okay."
That's
Like,
what
fair
I'm
play,
saying.
bro.
Honestly, it's
Yeah, it's very
honestly
funny.
the best thing he's ever done.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because
it's very
like
funny.
it has cottoned on so much with the community, in part because like
He
he
is.
really does carry himself like that, and like he is. But like him just owning it was legitimately good. But like, yeah. Oh no, I'm rich. That's such a terrible thing. He's like, okay, yeah, like that's the correct answer, man.
Yeah. I think this one's directed for AK.
Lazy bed. X-Pac was actually great.
Yes.
I'll Bronco Buster anyone who disagrees.
Of course. Lazy bed. That's why I said I prefer the term "go away heat." I don't
Yes.
like to designate to the great X-Pac. I love X-Pac. I love shout outs to Scott Waltman. Scott Waltman. What did I just say?
Something like that.
What move is a Bronco Buster?
This one, you jump
Yeah,
up
but I
in the
got it
face
wrong.
and you put your junk in another man's face and then drive their back of their
Sean
head
Walt.
into the canvas.
Oh,
Yes.
So you have to be
Sean-
hyper.
okay.
You have to be like, it is what
You gotta have bounce.
it's what Vince Carter did to that tall dude in the Olympics.
There you
okay.
go. Sean Waltman. I'm sorry. I was getting Scott Hall and I was melding Scott Hall and Sean Waltman together. Sean.
I know who
Waltman,
Scott Hall
My
is.
favorite.
Yeah,
Alright.
RIP.
Blaine Henry.
Who's
oh,
this? Who's this?
hi Blaine.
Who's this
Sup,
guy? It's a young,
fellas?
Our
young,
colleague.
young up and coming whippersnapper in the
he
MMA
has-
I have it
community.
on good authority from Blaine that he has inside sources that says Ilya Topuria will fight someone. So, big if
He
true.
actually has a question.
Blaine, do you guys think Dan Hooker
Oh,
is
totally
kind
could
of a trap fight for Armin? That's an interesting
Totally could be.
concept.
Totally
I hope
could be.
not, but AK, is it? You say it could be. Is it?
Look, I don't think so. I vaguely remember, and I might just be completely making this up, that there was some of this talk when Islam fought Hooker. Do you remember that? I almost feel like there was a similar talk.
Yeah,
And again,
everybody
I hate
had
to-
every thought about Islam fighting everybody, and he just
This is true.
slaughtered them all.
Yeah, this is true. There was a lot of people saying this is a banana peel he's going to slip on. I was like, oh no, he's killed them again. And again, I hate to keep comparing Arman and Islam, but listen, their careers are tied together in a way. They're somewhat stylistically, they do have some similarities. So, but yeah, the concept of being a trap is for sure, because Dan Hooker is just so tough, and there is that element of if it stays on the feet, of course Dan Hooker has a chance. Like I said, outside of the Islam fight, it is pretty difficult to just manhandle Dan Hooker with wrestling. It's not like he's some like crazy ass submission threat off his back or something, but he is really well attuned to making the fight go where he wants it to go. That's how he's had as much success as he had, right? If he was just getting wrestled to death all the time, everyone would do it. But I do think Arman, like I said at the beginning, is another level of wrestler, and he'll have enough success there to sort of grind out a win. By the way, guys, Blaine, you see his name on the screen if he's in the chat. He has a YouTube channel as well.
Yes,
So I tell people,
I was gonna say.
please subscribe. Please subscribe to Blaine's YouTube channel. He's dropping spicy takes and analysis all the time. So shout out to our boy Blaine.
I feel like this is for you two because I'm not involved in it.
Shamil from Dave and Chatri. Shamil going to be 2026 JBR draft MVP that none of us pick, like Marab in 2025. I
assume this was
believe
for your draft.
What's JBR?
that.
I don't know.
I'm going to guess that is the Just Bleed Radio. I believe they do
Oh, I see. I see.
Oh,
draft as well. And I don't think that's true for any draft because Shmuel Gaziev's not very good. Merab, I don't know how Merab didn't get picked in any sort of draft.
So then this one's
that was
better
done.
then. This one's specifically for AK.
Joseph Bosa. Can we get AK's thoughts
Well-
on Salt Boy making his 5th walk this year? And
That
Mike
goes-
loves it for draft purposes.
Yeah, well, that goes with the last question because I was going to ask if Salsa Boy like first round KO'd Gaziev, but I don't think that's going to happen. But by some chance he did. Is Salsa Boy the MVP of our draft?
Best he can do is tie Carlos Prates, who has 500 points. Salsa Boy is
carrying my team.
250 right now.
Yeah.
If he does get a first, if he knocks out Gaziev, that's
Right.
a 250 burger as well. So
Because he has a couple of decision wins in there that are just like unranked people, right? So that's just
Yeah.
like 50 points. That's it.
Well,
right?
on this season, he's only won one in this season. He fought twice.
Oh,
this season,
yes.
but
That's
he
right.
lost as well. So
That's right.
if you got points just for fighting, he would be up there because this would be his 3rd fight, I believe, of the season.
Third of the season.
but-
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah, but Carlos Prates is almost half your team's points right now.
Carry me.
He's doing great, which is shocking. I mean, Merab can't quite get there, but Merab can get pretty close. Steve Garcia, Loki MVP for Casey. Man, I was so close with Kevin Holland, who fought a bunch and just never won.
You had the right idea.
It was a good process, poor outcome.
All right. Another quick one because we're getting a bunch of the same questions now.
This
Where
is
did it go?
honestly, I saw this joke earlier, and I'm glad you pulled it because it's A+ work from Bvon.
Has he not? Has Waldo himself not done this? Like a social media
Yeah,
post or
yo
a
no
meme
sé.
or like?
Yo no
You
sé.
should. Whenever
that's
for
really
the
good.
podcast listeners, whenever a heavyweight drops out from now on, everyone will be asking, "Where's Waldo?"
All right.
He's too busy doing the pirate eye patch gimmick to poke fun at Tom Aspinall to be Where's Waldo right now. Joey Bosa is Alex Perez, who's ranked number 7, fighting for his job at flyweight. He's lost 4 of 5, also coming off a fairly long layoff, not like a massive one, but the knee injury against Tatsuro Taira last year. Actually, good question, AK, right? Like 4 or 5 is a lot of losses, even for a top 10 guy.
Yeah, I will say I think only if this is the last fight in his contract. That's it. I don't think he'll just get cut. I think they'll keep.
I think
if it's the last
that's
fight in his
probably
contract.
true.
I mean, he is in huge trouble. I'm looking at the last. I hate to do it, guys, but we always got to talk about money. When we're talking about will someone get cut or not. So some years back, this is a long time ago. Alex Perez made $40,000 and 40,000 to show, 40,000 to win to beat Juicy Formiga, so like 80,000. So he's probably not like in the 6-figure range. I don't think he's getting like 100,000 to show. That'd be very unlikely. But probably when he wins, he's getting over 100,000. That's a lot to the UFC, guys. It's a lot. That's a lot of scratch to the UFC. It's a lot of contender series people they can sign with that money. So yes, and you combine it. He's had a lack of success, and frankly, a struggle to even get in there. You guys go to his Tapology. He has the most gray you have ever seen on any UFC fighter's Tapology page. It's crazy.
Lot.
Yeah, some of it's his fault, sometimes his opponent's fault, but sometimes just bad luck. So no, I don't think he gets cut. But if it's his last fight in his contract, almost zero chance to bring him back.
Yeah.
That is probably the correct take. They just won't re-sign him because apparently we're doing double contender series next year. They got to clear up space.
Oh my gosh.
Have mercy.
From Scott McCrate, still waiting for Perez to get back to his Jose Torres fight form. Aren't we all, man?
Yes.
Like Alex Perez had a very, very strange, very talented guy, just kind of lost a lot.
Unlucky.
He fought for a belt, one of those, wasn't it?
He did.
He lost to Figgy, and then Figgy quick turned around and
Figgy lost. The quick turnaround Figgy lost. Yeah, like talented guy, just the knee injury against Tyra. The fact that I'm curious, he was booked earlier this year and then withdrew. I don't know if that was related to the knee injury, needed more time. But yeah, he might have the most to lose on Saturday of anybody, and that includes the main event and co-main event fighters.
all right.
Yvonne, flyweight's pretty thin. Jose, do you get an actual weekend off next week?
Tell me what is weekends off? That is a
Next week
foreign
is,
concept.
Thanksgiving
Impossible.
here in America.
Nah, dog.
I get to meet Jose for in
right.
person. I think the
For
first
time ever.
I've ever met in person.
First time
next
ever.
Week.
All right. We've gone almost 90
we're good to
minutes.
close it up now.
So
yeah.
before we end, though, most importantly, there was a different main event that happened today.
Oh, just watch Jose destroy Ben the Bane on Prop Quiz. I've yet to see it because that obviously dropped shortly before we went on to do this and was doing other work things. But Jose Young's doing the MMA Fighting team proud. And frankly, I would have bet a lot of money that you were going to win that.
Yeah.
And I love Ben, but I would have bet
Yeah.
a lot of money you're going to win that.
It was like minus 100 to 2,000 before I got a question wrong or something like that. I think he was mathematically eliminated by the time he got his first question.
I've never seen something more suited to your skill set than you are.
You know what
you were born to dominate Prop Quiz.
What the actual game changer was I thought that whatever question you got wrong is how many points you lose. So if you get the 500 point question wrong, you lose 500. But no matter what question you get wrong, it's just minus 100.
Yep.
So I just ran through the 500, 400s, and then Bane was like, well,
It was over.
that's a wrap.
Can't do anything about it. Yeah. I have yet to make money on Prop Quiz. I've played twice, and I'm really bad at it. So shout out to you. Shout out to LazyBed for the super chat. And Jose Young's a champion. Brian Campbell is probably in a bit of trouble whenever they match up.
I tried to get it in person because the Morning Combat Studio is in New York, but apparently that's impossible because you have to book it. Is that impossible? It's like you have to book it and do a whole thing.
Yeah, they do because it's the all the Smoke production studio. It's the one that Pablo Torre works out of and stuff.
So impossible, but we tried our best.
Yeah, you guys, but you should do it in person somewhere. You can do it at Vox Studios. That's just easy to book.
Probably. I'm down
you should do that in person. That would be terrific.
I should probably show up at the Morning Combat Studio and just throw something at Brian.
Look,
and, lay the gauntlet down.
I'm going there fairly soon. I'll let you know.
All right.
That would be banging.
It was fun. I broke the all-time score record against our former colleague Danny Segura.
Nice.
So we're 2-0 against Junkie, most importantly.
Danny. Just dominating right now. Way to go. Folks, hit the music, Jose.
There is no music. I don't have the music. Well, I'll just play the intro
AK,
music.
Hum a song, AK. Just as we get ready. Look, there's some music.
I just played the intro again.
Oh, okay.
That's fine.
You should play it in reverse. Can you flip it?
I can't. Impossible.
We're not Miss Yell it. We can't put it down, flip it, and reverse it. UFC Qatar tomorrow. Early MMA. I believe, when's that kickoff? 10 a.m.?
10 a.m.
Is that
Eastern.
when the start time is? Eastern? Yeah. So wake up, get yourself a robust breakfast, pour a cup of orange juice, and lock in for some fist fights early in the day. And all the same things that you've come to expect. I don't know if we're doing a pre-fight Q&A. I assume Mike is doing that.
Nope.
He's not. No pre-fight Q&A. That's important information to have. We will do a post show. It'll be me. It'll be Mike Heck after the event. And then, of course, there's also boxing going on tomorrow for those inclined, as David Benavidez and Devin Haney get back in action. Shout out my boy Brian from Decatur defending his WC belt. And yeah, Brian Norman, Devin Haney, let's go. Other than that, thanks for sticking with us, y'all. We will see you tomorrow. Keep it locked in MMA Fighting for everything you need. Thanks, Jose. Thanks, AK. Thanks to you. Love you.
Happy birthday, AK.
Thank you.